Hi guys, how are you?
Great.
To start, I really love the idea of Citadel as like a whole franchise that we get to see what the Citadels look like in different parts of the world. But what for you both was the exciting part about getting to show Italy in this way? Because I think it is normally Italy's getting destroyed in action movies. So it is fun to see it like actually set there with the Italian version of Citadel.
It's true. It's true. Or as a fabulous backdrop for some like incredible car chase or
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously. But that was very important to sort of set our series in a city that isn't as iconic or well known on a global level, and Milan is also a city that has specific architecture that lends itself to a vision of Italy that is very, very different, and its climate is sort of grayer and danker than a lot of central and southern Italy,
Yeah.
which is known a little bit better. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, and what is it about, action, I think, draws everyone in, but it's also really fun when we have a woman at the center of action sequences for me, just because
Yeah.
it's like most of the time there are women there and they have their badass moments. But when it is a story with a woman at the center, it's a different kind of ball game. For you, when you were carrying that kind of weight on your shoulders as an actor, is it something you think about that you're like, yeah, this is a woman in the center of this, or you just kind of like, no, she's a badass, I have to do her justice?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. But I mean, it felt right because, I mean, the story was naturally supposed to be told by a woman, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Mhm.
It would have been completely different
Mhm.
from a male's perspective, also because it has layers of, the concept of freedom, of liberating from society, from constrictions, from which is a theme that makes more sense for women in
Mm.
society in general. So through that perspective, it was actually very natural for me to, think, okay, I'm a woman, I'm a badass, and I'm the leading of, the show. And I think it's something we have to get used to, you
Mm.
know, ourselves in
Mhm.
first person to think that's right and that's completely natural. We shouldn't be surprised anymore one day. So I think representation, the concept of representation, it's key in society because when you see something represented in movies, in cinema, and art in general, it becomes real
Mm.
and you can aim to that more and more and more. So yeah, I think we did it right.
Yeah, I agree.
And Gina, I was gonna ask you, like, when the Russo brothers are like, here's the reins, take it, and you have to write a show that is part of this bigger universe that they're building. How is it for you as a writer to kind of like take that on and know, like,
Well, I don't
okay.
want to take credit as a writer because I am one of the creators of the show, but there's a fabulous writer named
Mhm.
Alessandro Fabri who was the head writer, and my role as creative producer and showrunner was to develop with him our concept of the show. So for me, it was really, really important to put a spotlight on something that hadn't been explored
Mhm.
in the mother show in Citadel and take a deep dive into that. And so immediately our first instinct was let's flip the tables and take a deep dive into Manticore. But we didn't want to lose Citadel altogether. And so how do we do that? We do that by um, t- discovering Manticore through the eyes of a Citadel agent who's been trapped behind enemy lines.
Mhm.
And so I think that was really, really fun and is fun for audiences that have already seen Citadel and are hopefully going to watch Citadel Diana, is that they're going to see something part of this world that they hadn't explored already.
And that's what I wanted to ask, because you were born in Italy. When you see Italy kind of come to life on screen, like we said earlier, when I went, my family's Italian. When we went to visit, I was like, I'm used to this getting blown up now, and it doesn't like. I like that it's not in this show. It's different, but like for you, when you being Italian and being on a show that is set in Italy that is going to hit a wider audience, especially in America who love the first Citadel. What is the most exciting part about that for you as an actor?
Well, first of all, the chance of, in a way, becoming an international actress,
Mm.
staying in my own country, which is actually, I feel Italian. I love Italy. I love to live in Italy. So it's actually a privilege for me. And also because I think it's important that even Europe and especially Italy um, is narrated in a different way from and far from cliches and stuff like that. And I think in this sense, Citadel um, stay very truthful to um, you know the our origin and the country. So I guess because if you have to tell something, the important thing is to tell it right, not just to tell it. So if you have to, talk about Italy, this is a different way to talk about Italy, far, as I said, far from cliche. That makes me feel, happy and relief.
Yeah, and I want to ask for my last question. I want to ask both of you. Gina, we can start with you and then go to Matilda. When you do write an action show and like you have those big action sequences, or you're creating this version of Citadel, those big moments are kind of what ends up being iconic. Do both of you have a moment from Citadel, Diana, that you were just like, this is the one that people are gonna really, really love, and I'm very excited that this made the final cut of the show?
I certainly don't want to spoiler anything, but there is a location that has never been used before, that is an outdoor monument to a very tiny town that was ravaged by an earthquake and never rebuilt. And a very famous artist took all of the rubble and created these incredibly enormous, beautiful structures as monuments to the people who lost their lives. And we have an action sequence through these three structures that he created that are so spectacular and breathtaking. So for me, I think that would be my
Yeah, for me too. 100% for me
probably your
too.
funnest also.
Also my funniest, yeah. Yeah.
You see a bit of it in the trailer when she's on this zip line over this huge maze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that fun though, as an actor, to like to zip line in I don't know how you guys actually filmed it, but to like zip line through
Oh, we
Italy?
did it.
He did it.
We did it. We actually did it. Everything,
You cannot be afraid of heights,
No,
and you cannot. I
no.
mean, I
No.
could never do it. I could never do it. I would have a heart attack and die midway through.
I did it 100 times. For 6 days, I was
6
like
days.
going back and forth to the zip line with the zip line. So yeah, it was very, very fun. I don't know as an actor, but as Matilda, it was very fun.
You and Tom Cruise have fun jumping out of planes.
Oh
Not
yeah.
for me.
One day.
Not for
Exactly.
me. But thank you guys so much for talking with me. I really appreciate
Thank
it. And I
you.
can't wait to see Citadel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you guys.